everyone, I'm Mine, and this is set 71793, Heatwave Transforming Lava Dragon from the very first NINJAGO Dragons Rising wave. This set contains 479 pieces, 5 minifigures, and will retail for $54.99 in the US. This set is not officially released until June 1st, 2023, but it was sent to me early by the LEGO group through the LEGO Ambassador Network, but all opinions expressed in this video are my own. Real quick before I get started, I'd just like to ask you guys, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm doing early reviews of all of the summer 2023 LEGO Ninjago sets. In fact, there's already quite a few reviews up on the channel, and there'll be more coming very soon, as well as early reviews of other themes such as LEGO Monkey King and LEGO City. So if any of that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, by liking this video and subscribing to the channel, I'll help put those videos in your feed as soon as they're posted, and also really help support me in the channel. But with all that being said, let's get on to the review. So here's the main build of this set, the Heatwave Transforming Lava Dragon, which is of course this giant fire dragon right here. And this actually has a very unique color scheme compared to previous fire dragons, which makes me happy to see, because fire dragon is something we get a lot in Ninjago. So I'm happy that even though they're going to continue to do them, they're at least changing them up a lot. And I think that's definitely a good thing, because this guy certainly stands on his own as his own build. I feel like the base appearance of this dragon doesn't do him justice though, because I actually quite like this set, but I'll admit, when he's just sort of standing here like this, he doesn't look amazing. The body's kind of just very blocky, and the neck's got a bit of a weird shape to it. But then when you actually pose the dragon instead, you can get so much personality out of it, and it makes it a set that I actually really like. I'll show you those poses in a moment though. First, let me take you through each little bit of this build. So starting with the head of the dragon, you can see it uses the new modern molded dragon heads, with the two different molded jaw pieces, one for the top and one for the bottom. It uses like the pointier chin piece, which I believe we first saw in Jay's Thunder Dragon Evo, and then what's probably the most generic upper jaw piece. But the colors here are fantastic. They use dark red, and I think this is nougat, right? It's like the color that they use for oak planks in LEGO Minecraft, but when it's used in tandem with all the red, it does feel quite orange, and that's something we actually don't see too often, and definitely makes this guy stand out. I love whenever the dragons sort of have a lighter color underneath them. He's also got bright purple eyes, which is another color that you don't typically associate with fire or lava dragons, so that's another cool way just to mix them up. There's a sticker piece on the head here. You can see there's like this metallic flame design, and it's got Kai's symbol in the center, which is just the letter K in jargon, and then the other side of the head's mostly the same. Now if we look at the way the top and bottom jaws connect, I just want to say thank you so much to LEGO for this, because you can see they use this gray piece to connect them, and so many of the dragons that use these head pieces use that piece to connect the top and bottom jaws, and most of the time it looks so ugly. I've been complaining about it since the very first core wave. It's my biggest issue with the modern dragon head system, is I just think that gray piece is super ugly and doesn't fit in, because it was just so flat at the back. It felt so inorganic. And even though they still do use that piece in this set, they just made one small change by simply building on the back of it, and wow, that improves things so much. Now it feels like the dragon has an actual head. He's not just two jaws slapped together. Like literally what, it's 3 parts that are added on, 6 if you count the horns, and that just improves the look of the head so much in my opinion. I also really love that the horns connect in this way, because it allows you to get so much more personality out of the dragon. For example, if you want to open his jaw up, you can also actually move those horns up in the back. So now instead of pointing out to the sides, they're arching upwards, and I think that looks so much better. But because of the nature of this piece, you don't have to do that. You can still open the jaw normally and keep the horns down. But yeah, I think those movable horns just add so much to the personality of this guy. You can imagine it like a cat or dog's ears, right? They go up when it's excited, down when it's upset, and if you combine that with a huge range of motion on the head, there's just so much life here. I really like how they did this. Bottom jaw unfortunately does not have any bricks built on top of it, so it is on the more basic side of things. However, you're not going to see that most of the time, and you can very easily customize that if you wanted it to have a little bit more dimension. Now coming to like this separate neck section on the dragon, you can see it's very rounded both on the top and the bottom. They also use Nexonite shield pieces on the side for texture, and these have stickers on the side with just some orange scales. These are connected on with like these more classic rigid hinges, so there is a bit of a range of motion there if you want to lean the head back, which again could definitely mix up the look of this guy. When you have the head up like this, the joints in the neck are pretty obvious, but honestly I don't mind. I still think it looks pretty cool. And then coming down to the body, it is super smooth. Like there's hardly any studs anywhere at all. I think basically pretty much just on the saddle, which is a little surprising to see because LEGO usually tries to include studs in at least a few places on the set. And while you can still see them like on the sides of the legs and everything, I don't know, it does feel a little bit less than normal. I do like how muscular the dragon looks though, and you can see they use this new piece in dark red right here. This is the same piece that's used for the eyes of the dragon that comes in the bounty, and I'm not sure if anyone mentioned if that was from another theme in the comments, but I believe that piece is all new for this year, but I'm not entirely sure if it's new for this wave or if it's from another theme or something. You can see there's a few more of these stickered like orange scale pieces as well. And then a really interesting part of the build right here is you can see at the base of the dragon is this dragon energy core. Now these are of course the collectibles of this wave, but you can see it's purple, which is of course a very different color from the rest of this dragon. The only other place purple is used is in the eyes and some of this armor on the side. But yeah, the dragon energy core itself is purple, and it seems like this purple energy is sort of crackling up the dragon's torso. Very curious like what the context of that's going to be in the show. Like why is it purple and not just like a fiery orb? Is this maybe giving the dragon a different power? Is this good for the dragon? Is this bad for the dragon? I don't know. But it definitely looks cool. The purple certainly stands out. There's a quick look at that armor that I mentioned on the side. You can see this is where the saddle is attached to, and it's just got this purple sprawling energy in it. You can see there's also a couple of spikes that cascade down the dragon's back, which is neat. And then his tail piece is fairly simple. simple. Kind of wish it was a bit bigger. I feel like that would fit with the dragon better. But yeah, it's basically just one single part, and then it's topped off with a sword at the very end. It looks fine, but I don't know. The front of this guy's so bulky that this maybe feels a little bit off. Coming to the legs of the dragon, you can see they're connected on these rigid Technic joints. So there is a huge range of motion there. You can move them forward, move them back, flip them a full 360 degrees if you want. They use the SCCBS armor pieces, though now recolored in dark red. Very cool to finally get a new recolor for that part, because I don't believe that's been recolored at all since the very first core wave. There's another like sticker dragon scale piece here, and then they just use gold blades to be tiny little wings. I always like when dragons have wings like this. Like, they're clearly not functional, but I don't know, it definitely helps diversify the dragons in the Ninjago world. Kind of like birds in real life, right? All birds have wings, but not all of them can fly. It's cool to see Ninjago do that with their dragons as well. You can see there's kind of a falsity built into the legs, just to create a bit of a bend, and that definitely helps create a more organic shape. And then coming to the feet of the dragon, they're pretty darn standard, just with the 3 claw pieces out the front. Not a ton to say about them. The back legs use the same feet pieces, though the legs are significantly smaller, but once again you can see there's like a 90-degree bend in them, and they also use that armor piece once again, though now they use these stacked Technic pieces to be the bottom side of the leg, which I didn't expect to look good, but honestly it kind of works. That looks perfectly fine to me. And there's a look at the leg on the other side, which yeah, that's exactly the same. In terms of posability, this dragon's definitely very front heavy, so you have to be very careful with the way you pose the legs. However, it is on the smaller end of dragons overall, and it's not like super heavy, so it's pretty easy to get it in different like walking poses and whatnot. You can see here I've got the back leg completely off the ground, and then one of the front feet slightly up. And actually, if you want to have one arm up so the dragon's like slashing at an enemy or something, you can do that. It's definitely a lot more finicky to pose. You can see I have the other front leg and one of the back legs doing a lot of the work here. But yeah, this is mostly just a proof of concept to show it doesn't necessarily need both front legs on the ground to stand. But anyway, you might be looking at this and going, okay, what's so interesting about this? This just seems like a pretty standard LEGO dragon to me that maybe just has weird proportions. Well, let me show you the main play feature with this set, and this is honestly what makes me love this set, because as the name of the set may suggest, this dragon can actually transform. So when you have the dragon in space form like this, first you have to take its head and turn it completely upside down, then take the legs on the sides and rotate those upward, and of course do that with all 4 legs, and then turn the tail of the back upside down as well, and then just turn the entire dragon over. And there you can see this dragon was actually designed to be reversible. What was previously the belly of the dragon is now the back, and what was previously the back is now the belly. And I actually kind of prefer this appearance for the dragon, because he's all hunched over, sort of like a cat when it gets scared. And he feels a lot more bestial like this. I feel like the proportions work a lot better like this too. And you can see in this form it reveals some new secrets about the dragon. For one, now you can see the inside of the legs, and what was previously on the outside is now on the inside. For example, you can see the wings are now on the other side. But yeah, on the inside of the legs you can see there's another stickered part, and it's more of those scales, though now they're being powered up by that purple energy. It's also a bit more gold armor, and you can see the stickers on both sides. So I guess maybe the idea is it goes in this form when it's about to use its powers, whatever those powers are from the Dragon Energy Core. The tail's also a lot lower down back here, which that looks a little bit funny to me. I don't know if that's the best, but I don't know a better way around that. The back legs are basically the same one reversed. But yeah, having the head down like this when the dragon's hunched over, it's just so full of life. Definitely looks like it's taking a stand to protect whatever. It's going on the defense against an enemy. You can see there's once again a saddle on the dragon's back, and I actually didn't show you this on the other side, but the saddles can actually be removed if you want to. The saddles just connect on with some clips, and there's just solid tiles underneath there. So if you want to have the dragon in a more natural form, untamed, you do have that option, which is pretty cool. But yeah, now you can see that Dragon Energy Core up a little bit closer, and that's actually one of the play features in this set, is if you push down on this Technic piece on the dragon's back, you can actually shoot out that Dragon Energy Core and use it as a weapon against the enemy. Here's a look at the Dragon Energy Cores up a little bit closer, and they're the all-new collectible for this wave. All of them are dual molded in a transparent color and then another color in the center, and most of the time the two colors pretty much match. This is just purple and another shade of purple, it seems. However, it looks really cool. I love the design of whatever's going on the inside. These are slightly bigger than the classic LEGO ball pieces. These are more spears from LEGO Bionicle. Thank you to everybody in the comments who pointed out that name. But yeah, this is like the older LEGO ball piece, and this is the new Dragon Energy Core. Definitely a cool way to mix things up, and yeah, these do look a lot better. And I believe this one is exclusive to this set, so if you do want to collect all the different ones in this wave, this will be a set you have to pick up. That ball is kept in this ring piece right here, and it's very easy just to reinsert it by pushing it in. And then in terms of the posability of the dragon in this form, it's definitely more limited than it is in the other form, just because the head's forced to be bent forward, and you can't have it bent upwards like I had it the other way around. However, there's definitely still some fun motion and personality you can get out of this guy, such as like this, it looks like he's sneaking around. So yeah, honestly, in my opinion, this dragon is just so full of life. There's so many different ways to pose him. I haven't seen a dragon this expressive since probably the Jungle Dragon. And while that one still probably is a little bit more expressive than this, I love just all the different ways you can pose this thing. There's so many different looks. And then finally, if you're curious, there's how a minifigure looks riding on the dragon's back. And then here's a minifigure riding on the dragon's back in its other form. You can see I still have the dragon stood up high enough that like Kai can still be sat underneath the dragon. Of course, he is upside down there, but I don't know, I think that's a pretty fun option that you can flip this guy over and have a character riding on both sides. Now, one final thing I want to mention with this build before we move on to the side builds is while most of it's very stable, the only sort of unstable part is the feet. I've just had the front feet detaching a few times throughout this review. I feel like this connection system here is not super strong. Kind of wish it locked in for both sides, but I guess this helped keep the footprint down a little bit. But yeah, that's definitely something to be aware of. Again, it's not a huge deal if you're just posing this guy, but if you're planning on playing with him, it might be something you want to customize. But there you go, that's it for the main build of the Heatwave Transforming Lava Dragon, at least for now. But of course, that's not everything in this set. So now let's take a look at the one side build, and then the minifigures, and then I'll give you my overall thoughts. Here is the one and only side build in this set. It's like this vehicle for Ras. And this actually looks pretty cool. I love how many different Imperium vehicles we get in all the different sets. And this one's pretty good, similar to some of the others, but I do quite like it. You can see it's got like this hexagonal Imperium symbol at the front, as well as like this giant grabber claw. I suppose you can use this to grab onto some of the minifigures in this set, or Baby Ryu from other sets. And then the vehicle does get a little bit flat around the side. Maybe I wish there was a bit more texture there. It very much just feels like the kind of thing I'd build from a brick box when I was a kid. But also that's kind of a little refreshing to see. Not everything has to be this hyper detailed, like covered on all sides thing. This is very much just a bonus in this set. And like the front is more detailed to it. It's just the back that's very flat. However, there is still stud shooters at the very end. And of course you press down on them and a stud shoots out. There's some trans orange pieces here again, I guess, to represent that orange energy that Imperium uses. And then actually probably the most neat part of this build is this little platform it's on. So you can see it's on this trans orange platform, and I assume that's meant to represent it like floating in the air. That's that orange energy propelling it upwards. But you can see it's connected and able to rotate very easily. So this stand makes it very easy to display, but then you can also just have fun spinning it. So if you're imagining the ninja in a fight with Ras or whatever, you can have him come up and hit the vehicle and that'll cause it to spin. I don't know, it's a little thing, but just adds more playability to the build. And if you don't like it, you can very easily just remove the rotating piece and just use the trans orange stand on its own. You can see Ras also does fit onto the build with his weapon, which is nice to see. That way he doesn't have to put it down when he's controlling the vehicle. Yeah, obviously definitely not the highlight of the set, but still a conclusion. I'm happy it's here. Oh, and if you're curious, there's how it looks grabbing a minifigure from the front. So here are the first two minifigures in this set. We have the all-new Dragons Rising versions of both Lloyd and Kai. These two are both, of course, some of the main characters for the very first season of NINJAGO Dragons Rising, so it's nice to get both of them in this set. Lloyd, however, does come in one cheaper set and quite a few more expensive sets. However, I suppose this is the cheapest wide-released normal-size set to come with this specific version of Kai. So yeah, that's a lot of stipulations there. But the only cheaper sets that comes in are a polybag, which obviously not everybody can get, a 4+ set, which not everybody wants, and a spinner, which is not this version of Kai. So if you want this version of Kai for the absolute cheapest, but you don't want to buy a 4+ set and you can't find a polybag, I suppose this is your cheapest way to get him. But yeah, if you can't tell, he is a pretty common minifigure, all things considered. Comes in quite a few sets this wave, so he's probably not the most exciting one here. Still though, I do like both these minifigures. Lloyd uses bright green instead of normal green for the first time this wave, and I think that's a great new color for him. It just pops so much more than normal green does, and the dark green on top of it just looks way nicer. The lighter green on his belt is whatever. I think it looks fine, but it's probably not the best color to choose. I much prefer the use of like the black belt on Kai. The black and red is just an iconic color scheme. They go together so well, and especially with the dark red accents on like the hands and the torso and everything. Kai does look good. He is one of the more basic ninja of the wave, but I think the black belt really ties that suit together for me. You can see the new ninja suits for this wave do have these ZX armor pieces out the back, or not those exactly, but similar sword holders. And each of them come with 2 golden katanas, so you can put those around the back if you want. Here, I'm going to put the swords in upside down, because I was informed on Twitter that some people prefer it this way. Personally, I prefer the swords the other way around, but I believe this is technically correct. This is the right way to do it. So there's how that looks. There's a look at how the ninja look with their armor pieces removed and just that upper hood piece. And then removing that completely, you can see their face prints. Lloyd just has a sort of annoyed face. I think this is probably our best angry Lloyd face yet. And then Kai has a fantastic face print. It captures his personality so well, with just that slight smirk. It's really not that different from his previous faces, but man, it just changes so much. Again, easily the best Kai face. And then turning them around, their alternate faces have like these digital eyes on them, sort of similar to like what they had in Prime Empire. And they have a bit of their element represented on them. Lloyd has like these little swirls, while Kai has like these little blades of fire. And then they both have this all new dragon logo on the back that has one of the dragon energy cores on his forehead. And Lloyd has like these polygonal swirls around it, while Kai just has flames. Bright green was really just such a great choice for Lloyd. Like, look how much that dark green pops on top of it. That might be one of the best decisions the designers ever made. Cause yeah, compare that to Kai, that dark red does not pop nearly as much on top of the normal red. But yeah, overall, two good figures. These are both the two most common ninja of this wave, so there are definitely going to be other ways to get them, but as they're some of the main characters in the show, I think that's fine. Then here are the bad guy minifigures in this set. We have Lord Ras, who looks to be the main villain of this wave, or the secondary villain. I still can't tell if here the Empress is the main villain, but yeah, he's definitely very important. As well as an Imperium Claw Hunter, who is one of just the generic villains for this wave. Lord Ras, though, is an amazing minifigure. He's one of the few Ninjago figures ever to have arm printing, and one of even less in wide release sets. And you can see he's like this wolf tiger-like beast with these purple stripes on top of black fur. He uses this all-new like gold armor piece, and lots of the Imperium bad guys use that. You can see the Claw Hunter uses the same one. There's a stutter on the back if you want to attach like some back attachment, but it does look very sleek with like the spikes on the shoulders. Each of these two both come with their own accessory too. Ras just has his brick-built hammer. I like how it uses the little roller skate pieces that add some nice texture to it. While the Imperium Claw Hunter has this all-new dual-molded sword. This comes in quite a few sets this wave, but it's trans orange and gunmetal gray. A few points of attachment on it, like there's a hole in the bottom if you want to attach a staff down there, as well as a little hole in the side. I joked in the first review that I did that this looks like a Fortnite harvesting tool, and I mean, come on, I feel like that's a pretty apt description. But no, it is genuinely really cool, very different from Ninjago, and I like seeing it. Speaking of the Imperium Claw Hunter, yeah, this guy's really unique. He's got this very interesting, like, samurai helmet with the horns coming off the top of it, though it seems like it's tilted back a bit. These guys just have a very robotic, strange design. I'm curious, like, what the design inspiration was for them, because I don't even know how you would think of something like this. But yeah, they look super unique. I love all the gold pieces, too. Definitely makes them feel very elegant, and the gold printing on top of the torso, too. Wow, that is beautiful. Like, this is such a high-quality minifigure just for a generic villain. Genuinely kind of blown away by it, because yeah, look at the level of detail there. So many different colors used, so many intricate little lines. Like, it's the same quality as Ras's torso, and he's one of the main villains. They both have shoe printing too, which is always nice to see. And then taking their armor pieces off there, you can see their full torso prints. With the armor off, that Imperium Claw Hunter looks even crazier. He's got like this elaborate metal faceplate with these 4 eyes, again with that orange energy glowing through, and then his torso just kind of looks like an Iron Man suit with a core in the center. Ras, on the other hand, has like these gray robes, and what looks to be a dark red vest draped on top of it. It seems like he has gold-plated armor underneath too, and there's a look at his arm print too where he has those purple stripes, as well as a little tiny bracelet. And then finally around the back, there's his back torso print, there's that hexagonal symbol that Imperium's known for. However, that's not on the other guy. He does have a back head print though, and you can see it's just more metallic robotic design, sort of similar to what we see on Zane, and just more of that dark red and gold armor. These two are both so good, and the generic villains of this wave are way better than they have any right being. By the way, this is the cheapest full-size set to get Ras in, but again, just like Kai, he does come in a much cheaper 4+ set, so if you don't mind buying a 4+ set, you can get him for 20 bucks. But yeah, I believe if you're not getting that set, this is the cheapest full-sized one. And then the final minifigure in this set is all new and exclusive to this set, and her name is Wildfire. She's an all-new character for this season of the show, and she's got a very interesting design. So she seems to be some sort of fire elemental character similar to Kai, and she comes with 2 trans-orange Power Blast pieces as her accessories. She uses the LEGO Monkey Kid Changa hair piece in a new color here, which that's a piece I never expected to see recolored, but honestly it looks really cool. It's just like this shorter red hair that sort of curls up at the back, and then she's got this piece of moon-shaped jewelry in her hair. There's also a little bunny face around the back, which is a little bit funny for this character because that was designed for Changa, and I doubt this character is going to be bunny themed at all, but that's a very minor thing, and she does look cool from the front, so I honestly don't mind it. But yeah, take a look at that torso print. Sand green's a really cool color for a fire elemental. Obviously it's a color that Kai's never used. Definitely helps set her apart. It doesn't just feel like this could be a Kai suit. But the dark red trim on her robes looks so elegant. But then it seems like she has this orange cloth around her waist, and that's like tattered at the bottom. And then it seems like she's got a bit of this brown armor as well. There's like this fire symbol on her belt too, and that's actually a metallic gold print. And then turning her around, you can see that orange cloth continues around the back. Her face print you can see is very angry, and she's got a little bit of a scuff mark on it. She's got these super intense eyebrows, and then if we turn her around, unfortunately she has no alternate face. Now that's actually pretty disappointing to me, because I don't know why she doesn't have an alternate face. I feel like in 2023, every minifigure that can have an alternate face does. Obviously, if there's a character who shows the back of their head, they usually don't, so that way they still look good for the back. But yeah, the back of Wildfire's head's completely covered up by her hair, so there's no reason to not give her an alternate face here. So that's definitely a little bit disappointing, especially because of the one face they gave her, because while I think this is good for like an action pose face, I never like when a minifigure doesn't have just like a neutral expression. Whether that's a neutral happy or a neutral angry, this is clearly like a face for in the middle of battle, which I feel like you're not always going to want the character to look like this. So yeah, I really wish she had an alternate face here, but that's really my only criticism with this figure. She's a really cool design, and I like how much they set her apart from Kai, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her in the show. And so, overall, what are my thoughts on this set? I like this set. I think there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. It definitely feels a lot more like a toy to me than a model, which, like, of course, yeah, it's a LEGO set, that's what they're meant to be. But I don't know, there's sets that go more for looks, and there's sets that go more for play. And while the set definitely doesn't look bad, it definitely seems like play was prioritized here. However, I don't think that's a bad thing by any means, because I do really like the dragon in this set, and transforming it between the two forms is genuinely a lot of fun. But because of that transformation feature, the proportions aren't perfect in either form. However, I think that's more than a fair trade-off for a a really cool toy. The minifigure selection of the set's nice. It's not like the best thing ever, but you get 2 of the main characters of this wave, 1 of the main villains, and then an exclusive minifigure, which is nice to see. And then the price of this set is alright. Like, obviously, pre-price increase, this would be pretty bad, but compared to what LEGO prices are nowadays, it's far from the worst price set of the wave. It's a little silly to me that this costs more than the Legacy Wildfire Dragon, which feels a lot bigger. But yeah, there's nearly 500 pieces. You get a side build, you get a nice selection of minifigures, including one with arm printing. So, I don't know, it's up to you. It's probably a set that's better to get on sale, but if you really like the set and you do end up paying full price, it is far from the worst price set of the wave. So yeah, I would say this is a very easy set to skip if you don't care about Wildfire or the dragon just doesn't interest you. But if you're looking for genuinely a fun toy, or you just like collecting LEGO dragons, I don't think this is a bad one by any means, and I'd recommend you pick it up. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let me know in the comments which NINJAGO Dragons Rising set do you want to see an early review on next. And as for this video, I think that's about all I have to say, so thanks for watching everybody, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!